Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. How are you all doing today? And today I thought, why not talk about none other than Mick Schumacher, finally making his Formula 1 debut, of course, for Haas later this year. So I think today is as good a time as any to just kind of predict how I think he'll perform at Haas this year, and also take a trip down memory lane, have a look at his junior Formula career to see what he'd achieved before his big step up to Formula 1 this year. So let's quickly speed through that, why don't we? Mick Schumacher has probably one of the best junior Formula records of any driver on the current grid, up there with Verstappen and Leclerc, with two respective second place finishes in the championship in both the ADAC Formula 4 Championship and the Italian Formula 4 Championship, both in 2016. Before eventually claiming his first championship in 2018, of course being the Formula 3 Europe Championship, with 8 wins out of 30 races, with quite a big gap to second place Dan Ticktum. And then after a somewhat disappointing Formula 2 season in 2019 saw him finish in the championship down in 12th, with his sole podium being a win at the Hungarian Grand Prix sprint race. But of course, we all know this would change for the better in 2020, of course with him winning the championship with 10 podiums, of which 2 were on that top step, narrowly beating out Callum Ilott and fellow 2021 debutants Yuki Tsunoda and everyone's favourite money man, Nikita Mazepin. And then of course later in the year, before the F2 season had even finished actually, Haas finally announced that Mick Schumacher will be racing for the team this year, and here we stand now on the verge of the 2021 F1 season, which begs the question, just how will Mick Schumacher perform in 2021? I think Mick Schumacher has a lot more pressure than pretty much any F1 rookie for quite a long time, of course being the son of, don't know if you've heard of him, it goes by the name Michael Schumacher, only the most successful driver to ever race in F1, unless Lewis can do something about that this year, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, for Mick Schumacher, I'm sure this carries over a ton of expectations and just as much prestige. I can't even begin to imagine just the pressure he's feeling to satisfy both the team and the media simply because of his Schumacher name. But then again, I'm sure he's faced a lot of this before. He is a champion in Formula 3 and the reigning champion in Formula 2 after all. I'm sure he's already faced all this intense pressure and expectations set upon him to succeed during those years. And he certainly proved himself worthy, especially considering this Formula 2 championship just gone was, in my opinion, one of the most competitive F2 championships in recent history, with the championship coming down to the final race and all the cars relatively close together by points in the end of the season. So of course this year Schumacher is driving for Haas. This first year, probably going to be kind of a carbon copy of George Russell's first year, wins the championship in Formula 2, fantastic, well done, and then slapped right down to the back of the grid in a slow car when you get into Formula 1. Not what they would have wanted. Although I doubt Schumacher will struggle as much as Russell did in Williams, because of course that Williams was the slowest thing known to man, and I'm sure Schumacher will have some standout performances this year, with maybe a handful of points, although I doubt he'll finish in the top 10. I'll put him closer to around maybe 14th or 15th in the World Drivers' Championship this year, come the end of the year, simply due to the limitations of the car more than the driver. But I mean, you never know, Haas might turn up and win the championship this year, what a world that would be, but realistically it's probably going to be another year for Haas at the back of the grid. There's no reason to suggest they've performed any miracles as of late, but if we do want to make a fair comparison to prove Mick Schumacher's skill, we could of course compare him to someone in the same position in the same car. Of course his teammate, the aforementioned clown that is Nikita Mazepin. And putting all his controversy aside for a second, it's hard to not recognise Mazepin's skill, as he is a pretty quick driver as proven last year in Formula 2, and I really doubt on pace alone he'll actually beat Schumacher this year in the championship, but at the same time, I don't know, I just can't see him being leagues and bounds behind him. So if Schumacher were to finish, say, 15th come the end of the season, I'd say Mazepin will be not too far behind, maybe in 17th, or right alongside in 16th. Now moving away from that and looking into the future now, post 2021, I think it's fairly certain Schumacher will eventually make his way to Ferrari. That's just a rite of passage, although with that being said, I'm sure he won't be the most eager to join the team after seeing their performance this year, but regardless, he's part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, and I think the future has been set in stone for a Formula 1 career at Ferrari for many years now. But at the same time, I can't see that happening anytime soon, with two young guns already in the car in Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. So Schumacher will probably have to wait his turn for a good couple years, unless, for example, Sainz royally messes up and Ferrari employ the forbidden helmet Marco treatment to make way for more talent, but of course that's pretty unlikely. But when a space at Ferrari finally opens up, I'm sure Schumacher will be first in line to take that seat and potentially replicate his father's success if all goes to plan, which will certainly be exciting to see if that day ever comes. But in the meantime, I'm sure these next couple years at Haas will probably be a painful fight at the back of the grid, but of course it's important for him to develop as a driver in Formula 1 as he finds his footing before challenging the top teams, as no good ever comes to a driver who starts straight away at a top team. Oh wait, but anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe, comment, share, and I'll be back in the next video. See ya!